Hello, everyone, and welcome to Hanging Out for a Living. In today's segment, we have the pleasure of interviewing Lincoln Knowles, all the way from the UK. Hi. Um, and he's widely known as the maestro, who is creating music with every note. With a remarkable range of talents, Lincoln has established himself as a top tier entertaining pianist for weddings, events, and parties. Beyond his musical prowess, he is a sympathetic, I need more tea, piano teacher, a brilliant master of ceremonies, and a creator of commemorative gift musical video telegrams. Lincoln's journey began with the graduation from the prestigious Royal Academy of Music in London, and he even made his professional debut on the illustrious West End stage while still a student. With extensive experience in musical theater, numerous concerts, and countless events, Lincoln Knowles is a true virtuoso in the world of entertainment. Prepare to be enchanted by Lincoln's exceptional musical artistry and engaging presence as we delve into our conversation with him. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Teresa, this is wonderful. I mean, I love having a chat anyway, but to have this kind of chat with your friends stateside and all the other folks who are watching globally as well, because I know that they are watching globally. It's great to be speaking to a different audience.
Absolutely. So let's dive in. I know our listeners, we have some questions, so we're going to go dive right in. So as someone who has performed extensively in musical theater, concerts, and events, how do you approach each of these performance settings differently? And what unique elements do you bring to each one?
That is such a great question. Performance requires total commitment. I was having a conversation with somebody this morning about a jazz festival that I'm playing with my jazz trio. I said that we are going to perform as opposed to play. And she said, what's the difference between playing and performing? Different events, if I'm playing background music at an event, it requires a particular approach. Somebody's birthday party, if I'm playing at a wedding or I'm on stage, everything is the same but different. So, all right, let's dive in quickly. If I'm playing at an event, I'm creating an atmosphere. So how do I prepare? I understand the person who's being celebrated. I want to know who that person is. They tell me about themselves, what they want from life, what they're looking to display about themselves on this said day. If it's a bride and groom, it's the same sort of thing. It's their celebration. I always try to understand what their definition of celebrating is. Because although celebrating is a very simplistic thing to do, everyone has a different nuance to it. So, is the music a big thing, or are they trying to create a particular type of environment? So that's how I sort of approach events. And then read the people. People bring different energy to a situation. Sometimes people are very loud and boisterous. Sometimes people are very pensive and thoughtful, want considered conversation. So then, as a background pianist in those situations, I will then present the material in such a way. On-stage performance is a different kind of thing. People have come specifically to watch you, i.e. me. Mm-hmm. So we, as talk about the jazz trio. As a jazz trio, I think that many things are important for all performance. Presentation, said he who's sitting. This is the most casual I'll ever be. When I'm performing, I'm always in a suit, shirt, tie, sometimes a bow tie, but more often I tend to wear sort of interesting piano ties now. We live in that age where people take photographs and they share them to social media and TikTok and all the rest of it. And Lincoln Noel wearing an interesting tie is a talking point, which then provokes more discussion, which provokes more reaction and likes. And we live in that world. 30 years ago, I'm just wearing a bow tie and a tuxedo. And I look, I now have to be, how I look is as important as how I sound. I've never been a scruffy performer, but that is very, very important. In performance, we want to make the music speak. So whatever I'm playing, I am at one with that music in the deepest form, whether it's jazz, whether it's sad swing, whether it's Chopin, it's romantic, whether it's very, very morose, whether it's exciting, the style of the music, the period. There are so many things that I have to become the music to then tell the story. And sometimes that takes a long time, and other times it doesn't. The last engagement I did, I had to accompany a singer at short notice who was from the gospel world. Gospel isn't a default position for me. People will assume as a black pianist that being gospel is part of my world. I'm not a gospel church musician. I'm a sort of a high church organist. So I had to sort of embrace emotionally, mentally, intellectually that world to then play the music to be on point and authentic, credible, and all the rest of it. That's a very comprehensive answer to a.
I know. I think it's brilliant. I love the way how you dive in and you become one with the music, with the event, with the performance. I think that's really important. And so, which will take us into our next question.
Yeah.
So being a sympathetic piano teacher requires not only technical expertise, but also the ability to connect with students on a personal level. How do you foster a supportive and encouraging learning environment for your piano students?
Well, I suppose that's related to the first question, because if I'm playing weddings for a bride and groom or a birthday boy or whatever, I always want to understand who the student is. Who are you? Children are always perplexed by the fact that I talk to them and want to know about them. And once they are comfortable with that, for some it takes a long time because they never actually ask for their opinion about anything. They are taken and moved and maneuvered and manipulated for their parents' gain. You know, Johnny wants to play the piano. Johnny, do you want to play the piano? Johnny, why do you want me to teach you the piano? Johnny's got to think about that. What is it about the piano that excites you? And if they can't answer that, I want to find out what excites them about life, because then I can tap into that when I want them to give me excitement in the music. And what makes them upset? You know, what hurts them? What are they concerned about? So I can tap into that. You have to accept that people keep talking about talent. Between you and me, I don't think anyone's that talented. Everything needs work. Everything needs work. So I get into my students that they've got to work hard. Nothing drops in your plate. Nothing drops in your lap. For the children for whom everything drops in their lap, they struggle. And my big challenge with them is to keep them at it, because the one thing they have to do is graft, something they've never done before. So I've got to be sympathetic with them learning to graft, with them learning to accept failure, with them learning to accept vulnerability, and give them a safe space. I have to give my students a safe space to be vulnerable, because when you are learning, you don't know. And if you don't know, you appear to be ignorant. And if you appear to be ignorant, that's a very uncomfortable. People don't want the other people to think that they don't know anything. We always present this persona of being knowledgeable. I don't know how to play the piano. Lincoln, show me how to play the piano. If a person knows how to play the piano, they don't need to come to me. So that's my starting point, to say, you know, Frida, Johnny, Teresa, Tony, Kylie, Fred, this is where we are. I'm going to take you by the hand and take you on the journey. And if you falter, I'm going to be there to pick you up. And that's my approach with my students. And I mean, thus far, it seems to have served me well.
And it's obviously serving them well because that's also a confidence builder when you're not letting them kind of fall into the gutter. And it's also a wonderful confidence builder. So kudos to you for taking, for doing whatever it takes to give them that and then the love for music.
Thank you
So
very much.
that takes us into our third question. And
Right.
yeah, so your talent, as we'll all agree from just talking with you here, as a brilliant master of ceremonies is undoubtedly captivating. So what do you consider to be the key elements of hosting a successful and memorable event? And I know we touched on it a little bit here. Could you share some tips or insights for aspiring MCs?
Whoa. Okay. I started doing weddings when I was 13 years old. Um, in my 13th year, my father, who was a very good host, was invited to host one of my cousin's weddings, and he did a lot of preparation. He had some very funny jokes written, but he lost the room. It wasn't entirely his fault because he didn't have a microphone, but he lost the room because the room wasn't prepared to listen to what he had to say. And I thought, right, number one, 15 years, no, 18 years later, I was faced with a wedding that was going wrong for lots of reasons. Most of us had got the time wrong. The bride and grooms had decided they were getting married at 12:30. We all thought it was 2 o'clock. The registrars got caught out. They had an opera singer booked for 2 o'clock, but everything was at 12:30, and I had to think on my feet and take the bull by the horns. And I decided to own the room from the first minute so that nobody would know that anything was going wrong and that I was totally in control, and your afternoon and evening and your occasion is safe with me. So you have to have total self-belief, know your subjects, know who you're dealing with, own the room, speak clearly, offend nobody, be inclusive. Yeah. And always remember that you're giving them a great time. Your job is to facilitate the event. The event is not about you. It's to facilitate the event. I mean, I watch the MCs that open up the big boxing fight. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the main event of the calendar of the evening. We've been waiting for this for months, for years. The challenger, everything is significant. Everything is big. Everything is exciting. Yeah. I like the way, I remember in the days of Muhammad Ali, who himself was a great showman. I hate to think how fantastic Muhammad Ali's boxing fights would have been with all the packaging that goes with fights these days. But the fact of the matter is, what you are doing is what good MCs do is create excitement. People stamp their feet. The principal thing that I do at weddings, introduce the speeches. I make the father of the bride feel unbelievably special, unbelievably important. And I tell the people that this man has got something to say. He's going to do X, he's going to do Y, he's going to do Z, he's going to do 1, 2, 3, and I claim your attention for. And this man is the most important man who ever walked this earth when I say his name. So he stands up feeling $1 million, and everybody cheers like mad because I want to have that good feeling.
Absolutely. I love it. We'll move on to our final question of our time together, and that is the creation of commemorative gift musical video telegrams sounds like a unique and heartfelt way to celebrate special occasions. Can you tell us about a particularly meaningful or emotional experience you've had while crafting one of these personalized musical gifts?
Yeah, commemorative musical telegrams. I just want to say for your audience, what I do is I put together a medley of tunes of the taste of the person who is receiving. So there's a lady in Atlanta who had a friend who liked the Jacksons.
Yeah.
I'm a big fan of the Jacksons, so I had never actually sat down and played. For someone who plays such a wide variety of music as I do, it suddenly occurred to me that I had never played the Jacksons before. ABC 1, 2, 3, I Want You Back, Shake Your Body Down to the Ground, Ben, Blame It on the Boogie, all those tunes that everybody knows. The Jacksons did Jackson 5, Michael Jackson, Thriller. So it was really quite exciting for me to delve in to tunes, and I had to think about harmonies and how they sync together and all that sort of thing. So that was one that was really exciting. And there was a couple that are in Denmark who wanted waltzes by Strauss and Tchaikovsky, and I played all these beautiful waltzes from the ballets, and the the Blue Danube and all the Fledermaus, all those tunes that the Vienna Philharmonic Orchestra always play on New Year's Day that we watch every year. And I know that this particular couple, who I believe had been married for 60 plus years, when they heard the telegram, they just took they took each other and they waltzed to my music.
Lovely.
So although I recorded it, I wasn't aware of it. The thought that I had actually, that Lincoln Noel in Northampton in England had put this thing on video and sent it to Copenhagen, and that there was this couple who I'd never met who toasted one another with a glass of fizz, then they put their drinks down and then they waltzed as if they were on an imaginary ballroom and they only had eyes for each other. It was like the greatest romantic experience, and I was part of that. So that for me was just extraordinary. I can't begin to explain the value that one gets. There are times when you kind of question, it's a ridiculous question for someone like me to ask, but is what I play worth anything? During lockdown, I learned about the power of music in a real sense. There were some very lonely people who were brought up by the bootstraps by my telegrams that arrived at times when they least expected it, and their face became a ray of sunshine. And that was the beautiful thing about the telegrams, which I'm still doing. So if anybody's out there and you want to surprise somebody with a unique gift, the most important thing is to tell me what they like. It could be ABBA, it could be Rachmaninoff or Strauss or Pink Floyd or The Muppet Show, anything from Disney. I've had it all now. I'm no longer surprised. Even somebody wanted me to play some hip hop, so I had to rap something by Vanilla Ice, which isn't really my thing. But I did it. It's all good theatre.
I love it.
Dark glasses on, and it's the ability with this piano and these hands to create the magic, as you said in your blurb, and it really is magic because I'm here and they're there, and it's life changing.
Fabulous. I love the versatility and diversity and the multifaceted of all that you do. So we're going to wrap it up here. So we hope these questions give you a glimpse into the remarkable career and talents of Lincoln. And I said your last name wrong, so it's Lincoln Noel.
Noel, yeah.
Yep, I said it Noel, so my apologies. Connect with him to witness the magic he creates in every note, and to connect with him and explore his extraordinary musical world. All that contact information will be in the description of our interview, so be on the lookout for that in the description, and prepare to be enchanted by his exceptional music artistry and engaging presence. Thank you everyone for joining us, especially Lincoln, for our time difference working with that. Wow. So please everyone, this is not the end of the conversation. This is just the beginning. Keep it going. Thank you so much, Lincoln. Thanks everybody. Until next time. Bye-bye.
Take care.